Welcome back. We're in the week 2 of the NFL season. You're joining us on the Fantasy Focus podcast. I'm John.
I'm Vel.
I'm Kyle.
And after a great start to the season, we're going to go through like what we're liking this week, what we're not liking, and everything in between. We have some interesting matchups this week. And but first, we're going to start with the Thursday Night Football recap.
So we can just start with the Buffalo Bills. I was one to say that they were going to go back to the run game. That's what they did. James Cook was just phenomenal. 11 rushes, 78 yards, I believe. I mean, he did good work and 2 touchdowns. Don't forget 2 touchdowns.
Plus a receiving touchdown.
And a receiving. He just did good work in a short amount of time, and they got in and got out.
I mean, A-Chain had a fantastic game as well in the loss. But the biggest story is Tua.
Yeah.
Yep. Should he play again?
It's hard to say. This is concussion number 4, I think, in the 5 years he's been in the league.
Yeah.
And just watching him on the ground, it's tough.
I think it's only 3 confirmed for him.
But there's a 4th one that I don't think they ever for sure could confirm. But
yeah,
like,
I wouldn't bring
it was
up
there.
I wouldn't say 4 just because of that simple fact. But
Yeah.
It's 3 concussions. I understand. It's
some nasty ones, though.
Yeah, because this is how he reacts after getting it. Like, you never really see anybody's body like trigger like that. I mean, the one time it looked like he was throwing up gang signs or something.
Yeah,
it's body. So I understand where you guys coming from, but I mean, that's a grown man.
No,
he's
for sure.
dependent. He's taking care of all his family.
Right.
Yes.
But I think you can't put him out there until he is for sure 100%.
Oh, no. I'm not saying throw him back out there.
I don't think you could even rush him back within a month. I think you have to make sure he clears everything multiple times over.
He should be on IR right
I
now.
think so.
He should be on IR.
That way you have like a month to evaluate and go from there, and he might not even be ready by the time those 4 weeks are up.
But he seems determined to still be in the league. So, I mean, who are we to tell that man to retire?
It's the competitor in him. I mean, you're not going to find anybody that's going to be like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to call today just because, of all these concussions. They want to keep going. They want to keep trying to win, and they have the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl.
For sure.
Yeah, and I definitely hope he gets well soon. Just in general,
Football is a dangerous sport, man.
Yes.
But with that, we're going to jump right into these games. First game up on is Vegas versus Baltimore, which this one could be interesting. I think it could be high scoring.
Really? I think it could get ugly quick.
It's very well. I mean, if it gets ugly quick, Raiders are going to be chucking. Raiders are going to be trying to push the ball downfield, and they could be getting some cheap scores in the second half as well, which bumps up the scoring.
True. But I don't think that Ravens defense is gonna allow that to happen, bro. Especially after last Thursday, they don't like losing.
Oh no,
they don't like that taste. I think they're gonna come out here and make Oakland pay for that.
I think so.
It's one of those teams though that just Minshew is kind of one of those guys that he's gonna keep throwing. It doesn't matter. He's not afraid to make the throws. He's not afraid to go deep a bunch. Like, he is just fearless out there, and he's really doesn't have anything to lose.
What you think?
No, I would have to agree on that. That's exactly how he plays every time I watch him play. And sometimes it works in his favor, sometimes not.
Exactly.
It's going to depend, but the Ravens are very good, so we'll see how it goes today.
I'm going with the Ravens defense.
Oh, me, same here. Definitely.
If you're looking for a defense to start, Ravens defense is one of the top ones for me. I just don't. You like Minshew. I like Minshew too. Minshew's up and down.
Probably not enough to start, but I think he could be down. Like, if you have absolutely nothing. Say you have Tua, and now you need a guy like moving forward. Like, that could be a good waiver wire pickup.
Oh, for sure.
Personally, I like Zay Flowers in this game.
Okay.
I think he was a little quiet week 1. KC has good corners. They have really good corners. McDuffie is legit number 1 in this league, who was all over Flowers in that game, to where I think he has a chance to bust out for 100 yards and a touchdown.
I agree.
Especially, and Vegas doesn't have any corners. Like, let's be honest, they don't have anything really worth much.
I can see the tutty. 100 yards.
He can do that on 6 catches.
All right.
I
would go with
dude's
the
filthy
Tutty.
in space.
I'll go with the Tutty, just not the yards.
Okay.
Like I said, because I just think it's gonna get ugly quick.
Yeah,
So they're
it
not
could.
gonna have to be throwing it as much. So
That's a
like
good
I love
point.
Zay Flowers. It's just one of those games where
I mean,
I feel like they're gonna be up, and
He's
it's like
he's
be
one of those
playing
guys
ground
that
game.
like
Derrick Henry, Justice Hill.
he could take a ball and once he catches 10 yards downfield and
Oh,
turn it into 20
yeah.
or 30 quick because he's got quick release.
But 100 yards is a lot harder to get in the NFL than you think.
Oh, I mean it can be, but you could have like a 50-yard touchdown and that's half the yards right there.
True.
I want to say who do you guys not like in this game?
I didn't see anyone in particular. I'd say like maybe Minshew for the fact of the defense.
Yeah. I don't like anybody on the Raiders today, honestly. I just don't like the Raiders in this game at all, just because Baltimore is probably the second best team in the AFC, dude. And like I said, after they lost to Kansas City, it's just like, oh, we did this again. All right, we got to run the table.
And this, I think this is where you could see them winning like 6 or 7 in a row.
Bro,
just
they're
because...
gonna run the board, dude. They're gonna run the board until they meet the Browns. Next segment, please.
Oh, all right, Cleveland and Jacksonville.
Speaking of the Browns,
For sure.
all right, let me start this one. It was disgusting. Week 1, it was very disgusting.
I enjoyed it.
I bet you did. Everything from Sunday down was disgusting that came out about everything. We don't have to jump into that. I prefer not to keep it fantasy focused wise. But I think I do think it's a little better for the Browns this today. I think their receivers, they eat a little bit more. I think Coop has a big day, and I think Judy shows you he's the number 2 in Cleveland. He had a touchdown last week. I know it was garbage time, but it still happened. Who else had? Who else did anything on the Browns?
It was bad.
And I mean, so I like Cleveland's receivers today. The Jacksonville Jaguars are down their number 1 corner. He's out.
Okay.
Nice.
And then other than him, who do they got? It's just like a bunch of.
It's their front 7 that's filthy. That's gonna get after it. And
I am worried about that.
And you watched Dallas just completely just dominate Cleveland's offensive line last week to where I'm not necessarily say you're going to see the same thing again this week, but they have guys that are more than capable of getting after it.
Yeah, they don't have a Micah Harris, Parsons,
they kinda do.
True.
I mean, Josh Allen, Hines, or whatever.
Yeah, Josh Hines,
Allen. Yeah,
like the dude can go.
He's not Parsons though. Parsons is
probably
unbelievable,
not,
and then you got Dexter Lawrence too. It was just, I think everything. It's a week 1 overreaction right now.
Possibly, but if you got to look, if Watson doesn't play better than he does last week, it's going to be ugly again.
I think he plays a little bit better. That was
can't be much worse.
That was I think he plays better. Like I said, I think these receivers get open for him. I think he slows the game down. I'm not taking him as my quarterback so no. But if you're looking for like a good pickup on a receiver, if Judy's still out there, guys, go get him. I mean,
he's probably worth at least a bench spot just because he's gonna get targets. He's gonna be.
They're
going to
be throwing. They're going to be throwing. They got Dorsey over there. That's all Dorsey wants to do, for good and bad. That's all he wants to do. Dorsey left Buffalo. They went to the run game.
Yeah.
Dorsey came to Cleveland. Now they're just trying to pass. We had no run game last.
But
week.
you have to have somebody to pass the ball.
Yeah, you guys are guys are so off of Watson, dude. It's like
I think he might have a good game today. I really do. Just because thank you. Jacksonville's starting defensive backs are out for this game. Their 2 starting DBs are out. So you're dealing with a couple of backups. You might have an opportunity to get some receivers open. He might have a better game, but I'm wishing and hoping on a prayer there.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a fan of anybody in Cleveland's offense until I can see improvements from the quarterback position.
Understandable.
And I think Njoku is questionable for the game as well.
No, he's out.
He's been ruled out. So that's arguably their best receiving option they have. And if he's not there, obviously it's going to open up targets for Judy. It's going to open up targets for Cooper, even potentially the kid they brought over a few years ago from the Jets. Can't think of his name.
For Cleveland?
Yeah.
Receiver?
Yeah. Either way. And
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. So it's going to open up targets for them.
Jets.
But like until you can see Watson actually hit receivers downfield, like it's
Yeah, I wouldn't take Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore.
Saying, he should stay on your waiver. I like Judy and Coop. I think those are your two sleeper receivers, especially in this game. Like you said, both DBs are out.
No, I agree with you. Like with all the assessments on Cleveland's offense, it's not the best. Watson's probably going to have a better day. But also, I like for the reasons of not being able to throw far is why I like Jerome Ford.
Okay.
To be getting some out the backfield, and, to maybe get a TD reception like that.
I liked him last week. He's disappointed.
I feel you. He is a more of a catch and finesse back. He's not the guy that's going in the tackle. He's not the Chubb. I mean,
he's off tackle.
Yeah, and that's why they bought Foreman. And just like I said, week 1 was just a mess. It's like I wouldn't take anything from that game and say this is really what it is supposed to be looking like.
Right.
But now, I mean,
you
got to show your money here, though.
Yes.
You got to show your money here. Who I don't like from on the other side of the ball, Trevor Lawrence. I think Miles, if he plays, I know he didn't practice this week. I think that's just the starism. Starism. You don't practice during the week sometimes. They said he was dealing with a foot injury. Still think he plays. I think he gives you about 90%. I think that defensive line turns up a little bit. And them DBs, bro. Like I said, I was still back. This is definitely one of the top defenses in the league.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the offense is going to have to help them a little bit.
Yeah, the defense, it doesn't matter how good they are. If the offense can't put them in better positions, then they're going to struggle.
Fantasy-wise, though, Cleveland's defense was still number 1 last year. So, even with Deshaun Watson playing. I mean, you had Joe Flacco in the back end, but when Watson was playing, the defense kept you in all those games.
Like, I know you don't like Lawrence this week, but I actually like Brian Thomas Jr. I think you saw last week the dimension he brings to that offense. It's different than what they had last year with Ridley. You have a guy that's younger, a little bit quicker, and he is an absolute red zone threat. You go back to his days at LSU. He led the nation in touchdowns last year, and that was with having another stud opposite of him at LSU.
Right.
Now you get him to where he's vying to become the number 1 in Jacksonville, and I think it's just a good recipe for Lawrence to give him a bigger target to go along with Christian Kirk. So, like, if you have a flex spot, you're looking for somebody you're not sure, Brian Thomas Jr. could be a sneaky one this week. He had a touchdown plus, I think, like 40, 50 yards last week. So to get double digits from a flex spot on this kind of a whim, it's not the worst thing.
Oh, yeah. Especially in standard. Go get them. You guys want to walk into the Jets in Tennessee?
Yeah, let's get after it.
Definitely.
You want to start us off down there?
I have really nothing in particular about this game. I did see, I want to say, is it Tony Pollard?
Yes.
He is doubtful, potentially. And so if you have him on your roster, to kind of just be wary of that.
Okay. There's like nobody in this game that like I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it's worth a start. Like you got Garrett Wilson, you're going to start him. You got Breece Hall, you're going to start him. Outside of that, it's just like, nothing really looks great, looks terrible, but it's just kind of one of those matchups that just fantasy wise, it's just not really great.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for something out of this game, maybe Lazard gets another touchdown. I mean,
and with Pollard more than likely being out, like Tajay Spears could end up being a sneaky start, even though I'm not a big fan of the Tennessee running backs, just because you don't know which guy's going to bust out. So it's hard.
Somebody's going to score for Tennessee. Yeah. They were up 17-0 at one point last week. So somebody's going to score the ball. So I mean, if the run game's not there, I like Wrigley to sneak one in, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's got to show up. I did say I don't like him this week, but I mean, talking about the game.
And arguably, like we were talking about with the Cleveland game, it falls on the quarterback. Levis has got to make the throws to get it to Ridley.
Yeah.
Like you could kind of see early in that game, Ridley was kind of the focus, and then it just kind of completely went away.
Yeah. So maybe he sneaks one in. That's probably about it, though. It's not like
it's one of the like the least like sexy fantasy matchups this week.
Just start your regular guys and leave everything else alone on that game, I would say.
Yeah.
I do like the sentiment on Ridley, though. I think that's a fair assessment.
All right, we're going to jump into the next game then. We got the 49ers and the Vikings.
This is a bigger game.
I really like this game. Like, I feel like even with Darnold at quarterback, he looked good last week. He looked comfortable in that offense. And I feel like as good as San Francisco's defense is, like, he could be okay this week again. Like, not necessarily worth a start, but kind of a guy definitely worth monitoring.
Yes.
Just because if he comes out and looks good again, you're just like, oh, maybe this guy's not dead. Maybe he's gonna have a little bit of a rebirth, and then whatever he moves on to after this year, like, could be relevant.
I like that. I do think this week hurts him in that aspect, though. You got Addison's out, Jordan Addison's out, so you're missing your big number 2 target. So you can definitely look, if you're looking fantasy wise, you can look into one of the off receivers from Minnesota, maybe, but
probably Osborne.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't even know if he's still there, but
nothing there. I don't like JJ this week just because there's nothing else there. Yeah. San Francisco's got a good defense too, man, and it's just who else are you gonna?
I debated that, but like JJ's still JJ. Like, he's the best in the league. Like, he's quarterback proof. He's unguardable. Like, he's gonna get his. It's just, if you're that stacked at wide receiver and can afford to sit Jefferson, sure. But
yeah, I'm not saying.
He's one of those guys. It doesn't matter the matchup.
Like
it doesn't
CeeDee Lamb, like last week, I said I didn't like him.
You were still starting him because he was going to play.
He only got 12 points. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that guy gets 20 points when he wakes up in the morning, and fantasy wise, So I'm not saying you're going to. These guys are going to come up 0. I think Jefferson gets like maybe low double digit points, 10,
which it's what he had last week too, but. If you look at it, week 1 was down. Like we were kind of discussing it a little before show. Like, when quarterback plays down, it means receivers down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was
So like I think in this game, like Minnesota, especially if Minnesota gets down early, they're going to be chucking. So you could see Jefferson with a big second half in this game, to where, like, if they're throwing a bunch, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You're sleeping on San Francisco's defense.
No, I know how good it is, but but if they get up big early, like they're not. It's not like Minnesota's going to be running the ball.
Yeah, but it's just, if you're all right, that they got to pass. So you're guarding Jefferson.
Oh, you can try and guard him.
Well, Aaron Jones for Minnesota had 94 rushing yards last week with the touchdown. Just to point out, for Minnesota running the ball, but also he had a couple catches for 15 yards, which is the potential if you're in a points per reception league. Like,
yes,
I mean, how many times did we see him in Green Bay have like 60, 70 yards receiving on like 6 catches? He's more than capable, and he's definitely a great option this week.
That's more of your safety. I would go more Aaron Jones over JJ, just because I think he's more of a safety valve, and I'm like, he's not open. Well, where's my dink off? Aaron Jones, and he can catch, and that's what he does. So
very true.
But who you guys? You like Brandon Ayuk?
Brandon Ayuk. Very similar on the other side, is being able to catch out the backfield and to do a lot.
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk is big for me because he had a bad game first week, and I thought he would.
It was rusty. Yeah. Like he while he was there, he didn't participate. So like it was just getting back into shape, and he had a whole week to do that.
Exactly.
So he should be a lot better off.
I think this is definitely a bounce back game for him. I think, I think where Brock Purdy is as a quarterback, I think he understands like he's got to get this guy going too, because he's more of your passing option, because Debo just is your
Debo kind of does everything.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's your Swift.
Ayuk is definitely he's best. Like he's the best pure receiver on that team.
Exactly. You're receiver 1. He's your receiver 1.
I do like Purdy in this game. If you're debating, I do like picking Purdy as your quarterback for this game.
And that's mostly because of outside of like Harrison, who's 33, 34 years old now. Like they don't have much that you'd really like in that secondary for Minnesota, to where he should come out and ball out. And you got to look at Jordan Mason too. Obviously, if you have McCaffrey, hopefully you got him on waiver wires, or you just drafted him as that handcuff.
Oh, you should have. I mean, you definitely should have had it. Christian McCaffrey's history, you definitely draft his handcuff if you're taking.
But I think as an offensive perspective from this game, it's going to be a fun one. Like I think you're going to see a bunch of yards, should see a bunch of points as well. To where if you got guys, you should definitely consider starting just about any like starter in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next, we're gonna move to the Chargers and the Panthers. So this is the this one's gonna be ugly. Like it's not even so much like I don't think
your Carolina team, bro? Your Carolina team's gonna be ugly.
I saw what I needed to see in week 1.
I thought this was your team, bro. Listen, Carolina's got a long way to go.
Yeah, it was a rough first week for him, which is why I'm off the entire team this week.
I'm glad you jumped off. Why you had time.
Man, there's just nothing there. Like
nothing, bro.
And it's rough. Like defensively, they can't stop anybody. Off like those tackles, they couldn't help Young last week. And even
it's the
when they
locker
could,
room of the whole thing.
and
bro,
I don't even know if it's so much the locker room. It's just from the running back room. There's nothing that excites you there. From the receivers, they just.
What was that, Big Nate?
Conklin's out.
Oh,
Okay.
great. Well, we will be seeing Hudson again.
Yep.
But like, there's just nothing that like excites you. Like everybody knows Deontay's the best receiver, so they're gonna try and lock him down. You have other kids.
He's that good at receiver. I was trying to tell you that last week. If he never came from Pittsburgh, bro, I don't think you would like him.
He's one of the best route runners in the NFL.
Says who? Where is this proof?
Go watch his film. The issue with him has always been drops.
So how are you a good receiver? You gotta catch the ball. Your job is to catch the ball. I don't care how many routes you run. You could be standing there wide open. If you don't catch the ball, it's for nothing. Deontay Johnson is like trash. He's trash, guys. Drop him. If you got him right now, drop him. Drop him now.
But the issue is like Bryce couldn't get protected. And even when he could, he just was so shaky and just he had the happy feet that just nothing good was going to come from last week, especially getting down early to where New Orleans could just pin their ears back and get after it. Like it was just a recipe for disaster after about 5 minutes in that game.
Yeah. And I think going along last week, I picked Gus Edwards because I thought that would be the guy there, but I knew they would run. I said Gus Edwards or JK.
JK finally looks like he might have arrived in the NFL after 5 years.
This is the JK that everybody expected when he was entered the league. I mean, injuries hurt him. If
he can stay healthy, like he's a sneaky top 10 running back for sure.
Easy. I would say top 5.
No, I won't say top 5. I think there's just too many.
He's got the athletic ability for that.
With that team,
he will be top if he stays healthy with that team because that's what he wants to do. Khaki Pants wants to run the ball.
The reason I want to even say top 5 is,
man,
Harbaugh's always had 2 running backs. Like, always had 2 running backs. And unless there is like a superior talent, which I don't think there is, I think Gus Edwards is very undervalued. Because
but just look at it from last week, though. Look at the fantasy points from he killed it.
He busted a long one. That was part of it.
True.
He's not going to.
You can't take that away from him.
No, I'm not taking it away. But if they expect him to bust a 60-yard touchdown every week, it's just not happening.
Against Carolina, I do.
That's why I like him this week. I do like J.K. Dobbins this week for that reason.
This week, but as far as the whole season goes, he's not going to be able to bust. He's not going to be a guy that gets you probably 18 touchdowns this year. That's a ton. But like he's just
what running back's giving you 18?
I mean, Mostert did it at age 32 last year.
Yeah, but who is with Mike Daniels? Who can't run the ball behind Mike Daniels and Kyle Shanahan's offenses? Because they're the same. Anybody, you can get any running back there. You can go back there and get 100 yards in one game. Like, go ahead.
So, as far as guys we like, you guys both like JK this week.
I love him.
I like McConkey. I think he builds off of week 1. I think as far as like the guys like that Herbert's going to throw to, McConkey kind of looks like he's like, especially after week 1, he got the targets, he got the catches. I think he had a touchdown as well. Like, he kind of looks like he looks very comfortable in that offense. He looks like he's going to probably end up being the guy in that offense as far as receiving options, just because Justin Herbert needs something.
Yeah. And I think this is a good week 2 confidence game for them to keep building on that confidence, just because it's like, all right, let's get something early, and then we can just run the ball down his throat at later.
Because Herbert wasn't. If you take away that garbage time touchdown last week, they wasn't even necessary. Herbert had under 10 points last week.
Yeah, and I honestly, guys, I don't expect Herbert to be the same Herbert under Jim Harbaugh.
It's gonna grow, but again, he's got to you have a bunch of number 2s on that team. Arguably, as of now, you don't know what you have in your first round pick in Quentin Johnston from last year. McConkey's still got to grow, and then after that, it's just.
Yeah, I just wouldn't.
It's just not good.
I wouldn't expect too much out of it. Even if he had those guys, it's just not the type of. It's gonna be
growing pains that I think you could see really blossom in the next year, especially if they can bring somebody in, because I believe they have some room to work with next year.
Just don't look for explosive games from Justin Herbert in my eyes, just because
he's gonna be steady, like right around like 15, probably most weeks
for low quarter, and that's low quarterback.
So
right there.
He's a great backup option for when you have the bye week, but like it's gonna be rough sailing until I think we see. Better consistency on a bigger end.
Very true.
So next up, we got the Seahawks and the Patriots, which this matchup is a lot more interesting, especially after last week.
Yeah, I like. I want to say I like Geno. Listen, I like Geno, but I don't like DK.
I'm right there with you. And a big part of that is
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, dude absolutely came out and just shut down Jamar Chase last week.
Yeah, Christian.
And part of that is Chase, I don't think, was fully up and ready to go. But New England's defense is legit. Even trading off Judon, they still got after it last week.
And that's what they're going to have to live off of, is that defense. So if you can muck up the game, every week,
it's one of those things is if the game's close, Brissett's going to give you an opportunity to win the game.
Brissett will not. I would say.
I don't think
he won't lose you the game. He won't win you the game.
Yeah,
but he won't lose you the game either with turnovers.
Exactly. I think you see another heavy dose of Ramondre today, who I absolutely
every
love.
Week.
And I feel like with him getting paid this offseason, which when I saw that, I was like, okay, they finally figured out who's going to be running the ball on a consistent level. He's going to be the guy that's going to really push their offense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to put pressure on defenses. Plus, he is fantastic out of the backfield catching balls. Like, so to have that, to go with a quarterback who is nothing more than just a team manager, like he's going to put up numbers week in, week out.
Yeah. You don't really like anybody's quarterbacks really from New England. So it's
like you're not starting Brissett. You're not going to start May if he gets the nod at all this year. It's just Ramondre, and then that's it.
Yeah. I do think New England's defense will take a step back this week because I like Geno, and I'm not expecting Geno to find DK because Christian Gonzalez is on him. I find him.
DK will get some catches this week, but I don't think he's gonna like catch the ball and then take off 50 yards.
Yeah,
for a long catch. I think it's gonna be like a lot of like dink and dunk, and if he might break a tackle, but then there's a safety sitting on top.
Yeah, it's gonna be a look for Lockett to have a good game.
Lockett, JSN is another one.
I was just about to say JSN.
And then their tight ends, Noah Fant. I think he ended up having a touchdown last week.
Yeah,
oddly enough, tight ends go there to die. You've seen it with Jimmy Graham. You saw it with Noah Fant, but like, to have like some fantasy value, Fant could be that guy if your tight end situation's not good.
Stretched, yep.
It's just, hey, hoping on a whim for a touchdown. Fant might not be terrible this week either.
Mm-hmm.
Would you look to take either of these defenses as for this week?
New England's.
Yeah, I was going to ask about either.
I wouldn't mind taking Seattle's either.
Seattle gets after it. Both teams can get to the passer. Both teams don't necessarily give up big plays either, which is huge for fantasy purposes, especially if yards are factored in.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this is going to be one of those kind of gritty, like 16-13 kind of games.
Yeah.
To where Ramondre gets a touchdown, but then like just field goals kind of the rest of the way. And like Charbonnet is probably going to end up starting today too. I think that's something that needs to be mentioned. Walker is doubtful. More than and if he does play, I really think it's going to be on a snap count or just touch count.
Yeah,
to where they're not going to try and overwhelm him. But Charbonnet could be a sneaky good flex start as well today.
Yeah,
nice. He's super productive in the passing game as well, and he's a good pass blocker. So he's not really going to be coming off the field a whole lot today. You guys got anything else on this game?
No, I'm good on that game.
Okay. Next one. If you would have told me the high-powered Saints offense would be heading to Dallas today, I would have laughed at you after last week. They did play Carolina.
I tried to tell you this, but you didn't want to believe me.
But I did not think they'd put up 40 points last week.
I didn't think it'd be 40 points, but I definitely thought it was going to be better than what it was last year. Alvin Kamara, you don't like him again? I love him again, bro. Dude, he is a different.
All right,
he is a different guy. So he had one bad season. I keep trying to tell you this, and you don't want to listen to me. He had one bad season in this NFL. Right?
All right. So the reason I don't like Kamara is because of who they're playing today.
I hear you on that, but it's just like anybody else, any star guy, you like, yeah, they're playing a tough defense, but it's that guy. He's going to get his numbers. This is a guy that's going to get his numbers. It's Darius Carter's favorite target.
So
they don't have much. I mean, they got Chris Olave, and I like the what's his name?
Rashid Shaheed.
Yes, I do like him today as well. because you gotta cover Chris Olave.
I did hit on Olave last week.
Yeah.
Which if you would have told me they would have put up 40 points and Olave would have been non-existent in that offense, it would have been like, nah, you're wrong. You are absolutely wrong.
But I would have been like, oh, AK must have had a huge game.
But Shaheed had that long touchdown.
Yes. And you could look more for that. That's what him and Derek Carr love to do. They love to hit that.
It's like, yeah, it seems like 4 or 5 times a year, like Shaheed's in the end zone on a 60-yard touchdown pass.
Yes.
I really like Foster Moreau this week. I know he had the touchdown last week, but he has the chemistry with Carr because they played together with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with them not having that for sure number one tight end, Juwan Johnson's there. I know he got paid, but like, dude ain't a number one tight end.
Right.
Yes.
I think this would be another high scoring game. I think both offenses go off.
I think New Orleans.
I don't like Dallas's defense today.
Could be shut down a little bit this week.
I think it's. I'm not saying 35-38. I just think it's gonna be more of a whatever the overs is. You should probably take it. That's what I'm thinking.
Nice.
Just because CeeDee Lamb and Dak, they're talking a lot how they want to be the best duo. Yeah. So he's gonna find CeeDee quick and early.
But Ferguson is doubtful for this game, so I don't know who the hell the backup is in Dallas. Whether it's
so more targets for CeeDee.
So it's you're going to see targets for CeeDee. You also could see targets for Zeke as well.
Cooks is a sleeper guy.
Cooks is another one that
Cooks is a sleeper.
He just doesn't ever go away. Like he's just always found a way to kind of find his place
for like
in the
3-4 games and then poof.
And he actually had a decent week last week as a number 2. I think he had like 50 or 60 yards.
He had
on
more,
like 5 or 6
fantasy
catches.
points than CeeDee.
Yes, he did.
So definitely take that into account. Like I said, I don't like Dallas defense. You like them today.
I think honestly, if I'm a betting man, I think they get a defensive touchdown. Derek Carr pick 6.
Bold. I like it.
Yeah.
Because
guys, don't do that.
Who's the guy that led the league in interceptions last year?
I don't know.
I can't think of his name, but I believe he's back today. Plus, they have Trayvon Diggs, who has a knack to find the ball. And
Bland. I thought you meant the quarterback.
No, yeah. All right, so I believe Deron Bland is back today.
Okay, I thought you were talking about quarterback.
Diggs has that one game under his belt after being hurt for most of last year. Like, those corners are going to be filthy. They're going to get after it, and they both have a knack to get the ball in return, hit for long gains. So that's why I think a pick 6 is probably coming.
It could happen. I don't see it happening. I think they get you about Dallas defense gets you about 6 points this week in standard leagues.
Nice.
We can jump into the next whatever game this is with the Giants and Washington
and Commanders. All right, so this game is one of those games. Neither team is truly a good team, but there is fantasy relevance within the teams.
True,
because they're playing each other.
Well, no, just even if they weren't playing each other, Jaden Daniels had a good start to his NFL career last week. I think he's like he finished like in the top 5 for standard scoring, I think, for the most part because of the rushing yards. You have a guy like Brian Robinson who had a great start to the season last week as well. Neighbors was not bad last week either. I mean, but they don't have anything else, so they're kind of
I don't like Neighbors again this week. I until you guys get a quarterback, until you start Drew Luck over there, I am not playing Neighbors, bro, because
I wouldn't play him.
I do not like Daniels at all. I do not like him. I don't know. I don't like him.
I think you could consistently see.
And I'm talking about Daniels from the Giants.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes. I think Neighbors is going to be like that consistent, like he's going to catch 5 or 6 balls a week, get anywhere between 50 to 80 yards. An occasional touchdown will probably end up going in there at some point.
Yeah, but like, I mean, he could score today. I will say he could score today against the matchup that he has. But
I feel like, because Washington has the worst defense when it comes to having the ball thrown against them. It's just ugly. You saw it last week with Baker, who I absolutely loved, and he's quarterback number 1 in fantasy right now.
Yeah, whatever.
And this team has not gotten any better as far as stopping the pass. So if Jones has a game, it's probably going to be this week. Well, if Neighbors has his big game, it's probably going to be this week.
So Devin Singletary, running back for the Giants, I really like. So he had 10 carries for 37 yards, which is not much last week, but he had 4 receptions, 15 yards. So reason why I picked him is coming out the backfield against this team. Yes, in the PPR leagues, I mean, just if he gets the yards per reception up a little more, it's even better.
Yep. I agree with that. Yeah. I like if I'm taking anything out of this game, it'd be the Washington's quarterback. I think he gets in for another rushing touchdown.
I think so too.
I think he does throw his first passing touchdown.
More than likely, just the who is the big question.
Yeah. Yes. It's probably Scary Terry. I know he didn't have a good game last week. It should be
called that one too.
But it is what it is. It takes some time. You get there. I'd say it was the overall package.
Yeah.
With Scary Terry. Just it'll take some time for them to get.
Yeah,
I think Daniels
chemistry.
will start picking things up in Washington, start looking better offensively wise.
Let's hope.
So we good on this game then?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so this next game, in my opinion, is probably going to be the most exciting game of the week. You have two offenses that can absolutely put up points, and you have two quarterbacks who, in my opinion, are vastly underrated as far as NFL quarterbacks go. As far as fantasy goes, they put up numbers, and they both kind of get slept on. I know most of them, like both these guys, which we're going to be talking about Tampa Bay and Detroit, Goff and Mayfield, like they were ranked like outside of like QB1. So like they weren't top 12 quarterback options heading into drafts this year.
Yes.
But Goff finished top 5 last year. And Mayfield, since the start of last year, has the third most passing touchdowns in the league, which is something to be said.
Yes.
Yeah, when you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Trust me. I get it.
Like
you could argue that too, but he had some pretty good weapons in Cleveland.
Not that he got along with. No. The only person that he really gelled with in Cleveland was Jarvis Landry, and then a couple people in Hollywood Brown. You know what I'm saying? A couple no names that he could make.
Yeah.
Baker was the guy that he likes him. He doesn't like egos from receivers, and that's why Tampa Bay and him work so well, because those guys don't have egos.
Yeah,
those guys just go out and ball, and I get it, and I love that too. I don't like Mike Evans this week.
I like Mike Evans every week just because
this week, bro,
he is the king of consistency since he's come into the league.
It's
1,000 yards or double digits touchdowns every year. It's just what he does.
Not this week. Detroit got some DBs over there, as we saw last week.
And the pressure up front,
bro,
too.
They didn't brought in some dogs. Chris Godwin could have
I don't like Godwin this week. I like McMillan more than Godwin this week. Am I starting McMillan? Probably not. But Evans, I think you have to start until, even when he has a bad game that next week, dude, he's going off. It's always what he's done.
Those DBs showed me a lot last week against them Ram boys, dude. They were everywhere.
I want to say, but
they were everywhere.
Cup had a game.
Because I told you, I wish I was right on. Cup is going to go back to being your number one receiver. I don't think Cup is better than Mike Evans.
Whoa, that's bold.
Whoa, that is a hot take. I'll take Evans over Cup.
Oh,
man.
Dude,
it just depends what you want, though.
Dude, consistent. You're talking about consistency. Cup was the bro.
I know
Cup nothing.
Cup was the number one receiver 2 years ago.
He was Jared Goff's number one guy.
Yes,
you lost Goff, then you become Stafford. You blow up with Stafford because Stafford's a. Well, in that offense, McVay was a better quarterback. I love Stafford now as a quarterback.
Yeah.
He got his team, and he feels great where he's at, so he plays really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, Cup's great when he's healthy. He didn't stay healthy till Stafford got there.
Still put up numbers.
But can we just agree on this, though? If you have Evans or Cup, you're starting either one.
Yeah.
I mean, you because that's your number. I said, Evans, if you gotta say a different play, you're probably in a 10-man, 12-man league, and you got a bunch of receivers, dog receivers. I might sit Evans this week just because those DBs in Detroit they're nasty this year. They're long, they're fast, they're ball hawks.
No, they're good. Yeah,
they have the right mentality.
Yeah, dude. They knew they needed to go get corners, and that's what they did, bro.
You have a savvy vet in Evans who is going to take advantage, and I don't know, Mayfield's going to be throwing some jump balls for Evans. It's just what he does.
They're long.
That's fine, but Evans he's a so Evans. Dude's gonna get his.
What
no
time
matter
does this game start?
It's a 1:00 game.
Is it 1:00 game?
Yep.
Interesting.
But both quarterbacks in this game I absolutely love. I think this one is a high scoring game. Like if both teams hit the 30s, would not be surprised.
I would be a little surprised. Their defenses are both good, man. I think you're sleeping on both their defenses here.
They're also inside. It's going to be a fast game.
If you you were talking about the pick six and the one prediction, I'll predict that Baker throws a pick six.
Oh yeah, yeah. Baker for sure is gonna give you one
this week.
He's gonna give you one this week for sure. It's better DBs. It's a better defense.
The linebackers too. Somebody
and bro, they beat him in the playoffs. I won't say they got his number, but they gonna go back to that tape because you're not changing much. If you you didn't come in with a new offense for Tampa.
Yeah, it's staying the same for the most part.
Yeah, so I like that sneaky though. That pick six that was sneaky, bro. I like that. And I don't dislike Baker Mayfield.
Same.
I don't want you.
I mean, after last week, how you were talking,
I don't dislike him. I just feel like everybody loves him way too much, and it's like, bro, he's not as elite as you guys think.
Oh, I don't think he's elite.
A lot of people think he is so elite. It's like, dude, he's a good franchise quarterback. He ain't gonna get you over the hump. He showed you that last year. He ain't gonna get you. They should have beat Detroit. Detroit gave them the game so many times.
Defense was
over and over in that game. I was watching very frustrated.
Bro, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Baker Mayfield going out. What's that got to do with Baker Mayfield? He had the game. He could have won the game. What did he do that drive? He did you Baker Mayfield things, pick six, because he did the same thing when he was with Browns when he played Kansas City.
You take a chance,
bro.
And,
we should have beat Kansas City. I don't like Hollywood Brown what he did or whatever. Anyways, we go there.
Get
later.
well soon, Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, but it's just, dude. In pressure situations like that, and I'll go back to when he was in college. It's a high scoring game between him and Georgia. Ain't no way in hell he should never beat Georgia. And that defense sucked. Don't say the defense sucked. I know, but it's back for quarterback. You feel me?
Yeah.
You get a turn, I get a turn. You mess up your turn, we go take over.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's how I feel like he's going to do. He's going to put up numbers, but when it comes to that pressure situation, he's going to mess up that turn.
It's fair. Yeah. It's fair.
And I also like David Montgomery for the record. I like him every week, basically.
I like him for a tutty. I don't like him for yards.
Yeah.
Defense, like you were saying.
Okay, they're good against the run.
Huh?
Tampa's good against the run, which is why I don't think Gibbs necessarily breaks out, just because I think the edges they're quick. The linebackers
don't like
are
him
quick.
As a catching running back. Though?
I do, but I don't think he necessarily gets a ton, just because I think you're going to see Goff try and get the ball through St. Brown this week.
Yes. Which I love.
J-Mo is supposed to be playing this week as well. It sounds like he at this point it's game time, but it's from what I read, it's more than likely he's gonna play.
Good.
Plus they have Josh Reynolds as well, I believe. I think he's still there.
He's always
so like Laporta is another one that where I don't think they have to rely on Gibbs a ton this game.
Right.
But I do like Montgomery. That offense goes as Montgomery goes. If he's running the ball well, it opens up everything else.
Everything.
Opposite side, I'm not big on Rachaad White. I know he's good at catching the ball, but you saw a rookie last week absolutely just take carries away from him, and he looked so good doing it. And you add in the fact that White is not a between the tackles runner.
No.
Bucky Irving, his vision is tremendous, and my big question for him was if he was going to be able to do it at the next level, because at Oregon you didn't necessarily see it. Different kind of offense, spread offense, like super spread offense out there in Oregon. But in the NFL, Bucky Irving could end up being really nice, and it's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. But Rachaad White isn't getting the numbers that he did last year to finish in the top 5.
I don't like him this week, but I think again, I'm huge on a lot of people that overreact in week 1. I think he start picking it up a little bit more.
He started slow last year too.
It's just you're high on that running back, that rookie running back.
They didn't have a guy that you saw take carries last year, like Irving did last week.
Yeah,
last year. So it was all Rachaad White.
Yeah. Which
now they have two guys.
That's when
he had a bunch of touches last year. So I don't know if they're trying to ease off that a little bit.
So you're saying take the rookie running back as a sleeper.
Irving option. Could be a sleeper. If you're struggling, he should be available in a lot of leagues as well. Yeah. To where if you're just looking for somebody for this week, even just for a 1 week start, Irving could be a nice one, because I believe he had a touchdown last week as well.
Okay. I can see where you're going with that one then.
All right.
So you good on this game then?
Yep.
I think so. So the next game up is Colts and Green Bay. you would have looked before last week. You were looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
Now with Malik Willis starting, even though I think Jordan Love is doubtful, I don't understand why. Dude's not playing for a few more weeks at the very earliest. This game has the potential to. You could see it being Richardson's breakout party. I know they have Jair Alexander, which Pittman could end up being nullified in this game, but you saw Alec Pierce last week. I believe the kid they drafted, Downs, I think is supposed to be back this week as well. Plus, this could be a week to get Taylor going.
I love Rich.
I love if you have Jonathan Taylor, you're starting him. It's ended. Like there's no discussion about it. You're not even considering benching him this week, so he's for sure a start. But
I think Green Bay's offense is going to get Green Bay's defense in a lot of troubles.
Yes,
which makes Anthony Richardson very valuable today.
In spots, Malik Willis looked good in Tennessee, specifically preseason, and you could even see spots last year when he got a chance to play.
He just got to Green Bay, bro.
What
are we? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you got to take anybody from Green Bay, it's your number. It's your guy.
Josh Jacobs. Like, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's going to get his. He's great coming out of the backfield. And the Colts gave up the second most points to running backs last week. Mm-hmm. And a big part of that was the passing game for Houston opened up everything for Mixon, and Mixon balled out last week. Yeah. I don't think people talked about it as much as they should. Like, he looked rejuvenated, which we'll get to him later on. But I love Josh Jacobs this week, at least to be the all-around player for Green Bay. I don't like the receivers just because they have four of them. From Green Bay like today. I liked Wicks. I liked Wicks. Saw one target, did not have a catch last week.
I think Green Bay is gonna struggle to move the ball. Period, bro. I mean, like you said, if you're taking anybody, I mean, you're gonna start Josh Jacobs, and hopefully that's all Green Bay has for you. And because Indianapolis defense wasn't good,
that's who I like is the Colts defense.
Yeah,
and they do have two young tight ends. But again, you have two guys sharing the same position. It's gonna be tough to start one over the other, which is why you just kind of wait and see. I know Musgrave did not see much for snaps, and the other guy did. And the coach was like, didn't realize it was that bad. He's going to get back to about a 50-50.
Willis will have to really shock.
But Willis is going to have time in Green Bay today, and I don't necessarily know if they get it because of how quick that front seven is for Indianapolis.
It's just you got no chemistry with nobody on that team. You probably don't even know the playbook as well as you should.
Right.
You know,
True.
it's just...
And it's just kind of a wait and see. At least he's had a whole week to know that he was going to be playing instead of just a few days.
It's the NFL, bro.
But I will say this. I was wrong about Richardson. It was a wait and see last week, and I saw everything.
Tell you that.
I saw everything I needed to see. That dude is ready to go. Granted, he was under 50% completion percentage, but, dude, those throws was like that he was actually hitting on. Fantastic.
He needs to not take so many hits, though. I understand he's a defensive end playing big quarterback, time. But like for real, that can only last so long in the NFL.
It'll come. Like, it's just more so they got to feed Taylor today, which will take the hits off of Richardson. They feed Taylor to get him going. It's going to open up everything. Receivers are going to be more open, which it's easier throws to make, which is going to help with the completion percentage.
Very good point. I like your thinking on that, logic on that.
But all right.
Jumping in Rams in Arizona.
On to the 4:00 games.
Yep.
So you want to take this away?
Oh, you know me. I'm cool with that. All right. So listen, this is the sleeper of sleepers today for me. I like Tyler Johnson from the Rams. Puka Nuka is out. He started going to Tyler Johnson. Stafford started going to him late in that game once Puka started going out because nobody knows him yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got all your attention on Kupp because Kupp is your number one. Back to being your number one. Because Puka, I will say Puka was more of a number one last year.
Yeah.
But Kupp's like, all right, this is still me. And now, especially now, because now Puka's hurt. So I think Tyler Johnson, I think he can get you a touchdown today.
Whittingham is another guy. Like, I think it's going to be one or the other that's going to see.
Robertson or
I don't like DeMarcus Robinson.
You don't like him?
No.
They got chemistry.
Whittingham was kind of one of those guys that stood out in camp and in preseason.
Okay.
It was a guy that Stafford was actually very complimentary of. So, like, I think it's either going to be him or Johnson. I feel like Johnson was a sexy pick because he was able to be thrown in. He's been in the league for, I think, 4 or 5 years now. Mm-hmm. Whittingham is just a rookie. But Whittingham has the ability to probably see a bunch of playing time today to where he could end up seeing the targets and or touchdowns
Gotta
today.
make or break that playing time.
Yep.
So he's going to end up trying to earn his today. And speaking on that, I love Stafford today. I absolutely
Same
love
here.
Matthew Stafford. Arizona gave up the most points to quarterbacks last week. Granted, they played Josh Allen and the Bills. Kind of expected week one. I don't want to say it's overblown, but I feel like they are very leaky defensively as far as stopping the pass. And outside of Budda Baker, who do they have in the secondary?
Right. I'm all over it.
And he's a strong safety, so he's not playing back a whole lot either.
I'm all over it. I'm definitely with you on that because I like Tyler Johnson, so who's getting
Yeah.
that ball?
I'll say, anybody you like, Kyle?
No, I agree with the Stafford pick, man. But you can't. To me, that's kind of an easy one.
It's I wouldn't say it's easy. Like Stafford's kind of falls into the same category, like in the last game we were talking with the Buccaneers Lions. Like they're not necessarily like for sure start guys you have a quarterback. They fell back in the rankings, but Stafford can still sling it. He's shown it.
It's a great matchup.
I feel it's a great matchup, and
daily fantasy.
It is more than a viable option. He's probably going to come cheaper.
That's what I say. He costs
than a lot of these other guys, to where he's going to be able to put up at least close enough numbers to where you could spend that money elsewhere.
Yeah.
What about the Rams defense in this game?
Would
you take them?
No, I'm not touching the defenses. Both defenses could end up playing decently, but I feel like both offenses could be explosive enough to where you want to stay away from them.
I'm not taking any. Rams defense, they gave up a lot of points to Detroit last week, and Arizona, they're going to try to run it up too, passing the ball. Without Aaron, what's Aaron Jones? No, what's the dude's name? Aaron Donald.
Okay.
Front, bro.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I know they had a couple
right
kids they hit big on the defensive line, but
I think like number 9 or 6, one of those guys was showing their butt last week.
Yeah.
But like it's a little bit different defense, and they're still trying to figure out how they want to go about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
As far as like, so in this game, like I love Trey McBride, the player. I just don't know what is going on with that offense. Like they didn't really go his way at all last week. I'm starting him this week in the league. I have him in just as a flex, just because like the options I'm not loving.
Yeah.
But like, you just kind of want to see like that game. And like last week, oddly enough, it was everybody but McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., which are their two best weapons offensively. So maybe they get back to it this week against kind of a shaky Rams secondary.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I think it's a good passing game. I think a lot of the quarterbacks are going to pass the ball a lot. So I don't like. I mean, if I have him, I'm gonna start him. Williams, the running back from the Rams.
Kyron, okay.
Yeah.
If you have him, you're gonna start him. But if there's
other viable
options, this is the guy I will look at and maybe sitting, because I think it's gonna be, he might get a red zone touchdown, but I just think it's gonna be more of the deep down. Let's throw the ball.
I think they're gonna try and spread it out.
Yeah, both quarterbacks like to throw the ball, man.
I
don't think anybody's gonna be up enough to just run the ball.
So if he is available in your league, go pick up Colby Parkinson. That was, like you said, Tyler Johnson was getting looks.
Yeah.
Colby Parkinson didn't do anything in Seattle, mostly because tight ends go there to die. He ends up with LA, and suddenly Stafford's just like, hell yeah, I am all about this guy. And he has soft hands. He runs good routes as a tight end. Like, he is going to be a guy Stafford's going to look at least for this next month or so until Puka gets back. And from what I've read, it's going to be 6 or 7 weeks before Puka's probably even back. And even then, he's not going to be full strength. So you could run with a very cheap option at tight end for the next month and a half and be okay, and kind of just keeps tugging along as the season goes, just to try and push for playoffs, for a championship, depending on how your roster is built.
Nice.
I'm all set there.
Yep.
All right. So this next game is very interesting.
Here we go, guys. Buckle up for this.
Cincinnati and Kansas City.
Bro, you skipped Pittsburgh and Denver.
No.
Oh, I thought that's what. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought we talked about Pittsburgh and Denver.
Cincinnati and Kansas City. It's kind of like that, like low key rivalry that.
Yes, it's the unspoken rivalry that nobody really wants to speak about unless you're those two teams. Which Kansas City, they would say that's no rivalry, but it really is, especially in the regular season. Because Cincinnati shows up in the regular season.
Yes,
they do.
They have beat them twice or 3 times. In the
I think twice in the regular season, and they've split.
So I think it's going to be a good game. I do think Kansas City is on a heater to, like I said, they're trying to three-peat. So I think everything's going to be working just like last week, fine-tuned machine. But I think since Cincinnati gets back up, I think they show more alive.
They got to show Chase, it can't be worse than what it was last week. Last week that team looked rough.
Very true. I think Joe Burrow tries to hit Jamar Chase. Maybe, like
so
two times.
So I'm not big on Burrow. Like it worries me. Like his wrist. Like I know like people are making a bigger deal about the water bottle than you would think, but those throws didn't look clean coming out last week.
And it worries
me
too.
And he looked like shaky wouldn't even be the right word to put it in the pocket. He just did not look like he wanted to be in that pocket at all.
Yeah.
And that's worrisome because he's not a runner. He's a pocket passer through and through.
Yep.
And it's just, what if Burrow's not as good as everybody wants to make him out to be? Like, what if the height from them making the Super Bowl, it's still lingering?
Who was that quarterback that got there like his first two with Dan Marino and then never got back?
Marino got there year 2,
yeah.
And then
just
never
like Burrow,
got back.
never made it back to the Super Bowl, and never really got close.
That is what's trending here.
So
I love Burrow. I don't like Cincinnati because they're in our
I don't like Burrow either.
Yeah, but I like Burrow as a person and a quarterback.
Burrow as a person is great, but Burrow the quarterback, like
he's electrifying though.
I don't know.
I like him as a quarterback. I don't like him this week as a quarterback.
You look at what he's done since the Super Bowl. He's been average. It's just
that's a reach.
No, it is not. Like he's been just average. He's turned the ball over a bunch without necessarily getting the touchdowns to kind of nullify.
Where would you rank him right now in quarterbacks?
Fantasy wise or just NFL wise?
NFL wise.
12 to 15.
See,
I feel like
I have him in the top 5.
I feel like
sure.
I feel like there are more dynamic quarterbacks right now. Like you could even argue even after one start, Jaden Daniels you could put ahead of him.
Stop.
Am I doing that? No,
Post
not yet.
it somewhere. Mark that.
Stop, dude. You're stop.
But
come on.
But he hasn't, like Joe Cool is like been anything but.
Yeah, and Cincinnati doesn't help him at all with that offensive line, dude. I know that.
That's been a big part of it.
Always from day one. I would have took Jamar Chase 2 over Pensula, but you gotta look at your investment, bro. Like
they tried to invest and it just hasn't panned out.
I like Burrow. I mean, he might have it like he said. I love Burrow as a quarterback every week. Maybe not this week.
Yes.
Just because what I saw last week, and I gotta see.
Kansas City's defense was kind of like I know they gave up the yards to Lamar, but like as a whole, they didn't give up the points.
I like their defense,
and nobody really burned them other than Likely.
Exactly, and I think with that defense today, they might get up early, and then you just got to start just handing the ball off because Kansas City ain't gonna put nothing on tape. They ain't got to.
Did you see Evan Ingram's out?
Who?
Evan Ingram.
Oh, is he out?
I did not see that. It's good to know.
Ding, ding, ding. Win for the Browns.
But we both like Pacheco this week.
Yes.
So granted, 1 week, Cincinnati gave up the 5th most points to running backs last week. Pacheco is proving, even as a 7th round pick, dude can play.
Yes.
And
yes, he can.
And within this offense, with having 3 threats in the passing game, he is gonna have clean boxes. He is gonna have open looks out of the backfield as a receiver.
And look at how Kansas City's have always worked since Patrick Mahomes been there. They've never had like a big name running back. Kareem Hunt came out of Toledo.
Yeah.
People forget that. You feel me? Kansas City are making these guys. You know what I'm saying? Because they're giving them chances. Not saying these guys don't put in the work.
Andy Reid is opportunities.
Yeah, he's giving them the opportunities to show up, and they show up. So I love what he's doing there because, like you said, you got all these passing threats.
They don't have to invest heavily in that position.
Yes.
To where it's not so much next guy up. It's just they're comfortable with what they have.
Yep.
Oh, and also Travis Kelce, I do feel get his today.
Okay. He'd get a
touchdown. But he's one of those guys. If you have him, you're starting him. Yeah, you're going to live and die by him
Travis
getting
Kelce,
points.
Yes. Yeah, you are going to live and die by Kelce.
It's the same with Laporta. It's the same with Kincaid even.
Yeah, those
like there's guys you just start.
Many tight ends anyways.
There's if you have one of the top like 4 or 5 tight ends, you're good. You're going to start those guys every week. Outside of that, you're looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now are we going to get to this game?
Yes.
Okay. we got the Steelers and the Broncos.
His game, guys. His game.
So this week, I love Najee to feast.
See, he disappointed me last week. So he disappointed me. Listen, they got what 6 field goals?
6 field goals, no
Come
touchdowns.
on, bro. Come on, against Atlanta. Come on, bro. Arthur Smith, where you at, man?
Atlanta
You're supposed to show your studs. They fired you.
You act like Atlanta has a bad defense.
They don't, but bro, 18 points. Listen, last year, this is practically the same defense, and they brought in a couple more pieces.
They brought in Judon. The secondary is pretty solid. Secondary is one of the best secondaries in the league last year.
Don't try to give them credit because they shut down Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
No, it's just a good defense.
I'll see.
I'm not going to give them credit because they shut down Pittsburgh. It was a good defense before they played Pittsburgh. It's going to be a good defense this week.
I'll see this week.
I don't know if it's going to be good.
What? Wait. They got the Eagles.
It's one of the most explosive offenses in the league.
But
We'll see.
No,
but we'll see. We'll see.
If you have a great defense, your defense is going to hold up against no matter what.
Cleveland's defense is great too, and they gave up 30+ points last week, right?
They're a good defense.
No, you said great. You said they're one of the best in the league.
Yes, they will be, and they will show you. I understand that, but Atlanta, bro, they have not been enough. Like Cleveland reloaded. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's number 1 defense, and we're just picking up a little extra guys. What did Atlanta do last year? Atlanta didn't do anything.
Well, the quarterback situation was horrendous.
Okay, bro, but you're acting like the quarterback situation is that much better.
It's not worse. I will say that. Which we'll get into that game here in a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys got a lineup question.
Broncos game.
Yep.
You got a lineup question from somebody on Twitch.
Okay.
Moss versus Kansas City or Charbonnet versus Patriots?
Charbonnet.
I agree.
Just because you have Moss and Chase Brown, and they're going to be going up against a pretty good defensive front.
Okay.
Like, I just don't necessarily like for that running game to get going. And I think if they're going to be throwing the ball, it's going to be going to Chase Brown out of the backfield.
Okay.
So I feel like Moss is one of those guys. He's good, but that's it. Like, he is never going to be a guy that will win you a game.
Right.
But he's going to be a guy that can help you move the chains for the most part. But he had those big games in Indy last year. But that was because that offensive line is built to run the ball.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because he is just this phenomenal runner.
Yeah.
In Cincinnati, they don't have a line.
No, they do not. That's what we were just talking about.
And you factor in what Kansas City's defensive line is, it could be a long day for that Cincinnati offense.
Yeah.
So I'm not starting either one of those guys. I'd much rather take the chance on Charbonnet, as he is most likely going to be the feature back today.
Yeah.
And just hope that. Like, neither one could end up getting double-digit points this week, but I'm taking the guy with the better opportunity for the game plan and who he's going against, and that's Charbonnet for today.
Yeah. Keep the questions coming, guys.
I do like.
Yes,
please. It's a great question, but I love Najee this week. I feel like Denver's run defense, dating back all the way to last year, it's not good. Their money is in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
To where Najee should just absolutely, like, I'm thinking 120 yards. I don't know if he gets a touchdown, but 120 all-purpose yards. We'll go with that.
I would agree with you. It's just this last week, man, I'm like, Jesus. So I'm a little hesitant on him. You also got to think last week, Fields wasn't named the starter until like Thursday or Friday that week.
Very true.
So the game plan changed a little bit. Plus you have Fields.
What were they going to? You would know better than me, so they probably changed it a little bit.
So if they left, so it changed a little bit, but things are. I'm not going to say vastly different when Fields is in
Brown
there versus
out on
Wilson.
Monday night.
So Devontae Smith. But things change to where you have a guy that isn't a great thrower of the ball. I think it is what it is. Like, Fields' dynamicness comes from running the ball and opening stuff up that way.
Yep.
As far as accuracy goes, it's a struggle. But he did well enough last week. Like, he did enough to not lose the game.
Yeah,
I think
if Pittsburgh wins again this week, it'd be because of their defense.
It's
I love Pittsburgh's defense,
and that's why they won this. That's why
I love TJ Watt.
That's why they won this past week.
I still think Myles Garrett is better, but I love TJ Watt every week. TJ Watt is an energy, bro.
Man, that is a conversation that we could go on forever and ever.
He's very high energy. Like, I think he's definitely gonna go after Bo Nix. I mean, it's a rookie quarterback taking off. So
you like Pittsburgh's D? I love it this week. Bo Nix was pressured on 44.7% of his dropbacks last week, which is by far the most in the league. That is an insane number when you think about it. Usually, a good game from a defense is roughly 20 to 25% pressures. Dude, that was almost 45% of the time he dropped back, he had somebody on him.
Yeah,
like it's not going to get any easier this week.
You're talking about Cam Hayward,
TJ Watt. And guess what? This is the better defense than what LA. Oh no, that was Seattle last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, who?
That was Seattle.
Denver, yeah,
who they don't have the guys that Pittsburgh has.
Yeah, it could get ugly for Denver today. That's why I just don't like the game at all. If I'm taking anything out of this game, I'm just taking Pittsburgh's defense.
That's that's very
I mean,
smart.
I like Harris too. In my eyes, now you got to prove it to me. If you're not gonna be that bat cow that I thought you getting multiple, at least one touchdown, bro, I'm gonna have to sit you until I see what Arthur Smith's gonna bring, because he had a great back in Bijan Robinson too.
Rookie though, and Algier was proven to that point to where it was split.
Why ain't Algier proven this year though? That's what I'm saying. It's just I think
nobody did anything for Atlanta last week.
No, you're right. You're right.
You like Pickens in this game?
Yeah, I mean, last week he had the 6 catches for 85 yards. I just feel like that's
against one of the more elite cornerbacks in the league.
Yes, definitely. I just feel like I was very impressed when I did get to watch, seeing a little bit of the game, and was very impressed with him. So definitely wanted to big him up because I think that the matchup would work in his favor today.
So you like Pickens. I don't like Sutton from Denver. Like I wasn't big on London last week. He had 2 catches for 15 yards. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., is a legit corner, and Sutton is nothing that's like, he's not in that upper echelon kind of wide receiver. I like Sutton a bunch, but as far as when he goes up against good cornerbacks, or I'll even say this, great cornerbacks, it's a struggle. Plus, when you have a rookie quarterback who is going to be probably running for his life.
Bro, don't say Joey Porter is a great cornerback already. He's good corner. He's a good corner, good physical corner.
Go look at his film from last year.
2 years and he's a great corner.
Dude, it took Sauce 3 games before he was deemed a great corner. I don't think
Sauce is a great corner. I think Sauce is another good corner. I don't think he's a great corner.
Asante Samuel Jr. Or not Asante Samuel, but Patrick Surtain.
Great corner.
Dude, great corner. He was deemed that after 1 year. And
just my opinion. That's just what I'm looking at. And that's just how I look at it.
Drake London's better than Cortland Sutton, right?
I'm high on Drake. I'm high on Drake, but I don't know if he's better like as a receiver than Cortland Sutton.
Yeah,
I think Cortland Sutton got a lot of back end from quarterback play.
I think Sutton's undervalued in like just the big picture.
Yeah,
but London's a better receiver than Sutton.
I could see where you'd say that.
I see, but if we give him the same quarterback, I think it might be different though, bro. Like I really do. I think a lot of people sleep on Sutton because of quarterback play, man.
I think so too. Like Sutton was great last year. Like dude, like his stretch of touchdowns every week with Russell Wilson was stupid last year. I think he had like 8 straight weeks with the touchdown.
Yeah.
But Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Nix right now.
Not right now though. Kirk Cousins is still, bro.
He's still dead
over there. Yeah, like I don't.
Yeah. But like I feel like, as far as the mental aspect, like Cousins actually is going to know where to get the ball to.
Yeah.
Nix is still trying to figure it out. It's just what happens with rookies. He'll learn.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like
Sutton,
so his second start against a defense that's going to just get after it, he's not going to have time. Like Sutton might not have time to even run his routes.
Yeah,
today.
what I'm just saying, like as an overall better, we're talking about just who's the better receiver, not situation they're in right now. Nah, I don't know, man. You proved my point. You just even said like Drake's got the better quarterback because he's gonna find him. He's nowhere to put the ball. What's Bo Nix gonna do? He's gonna. I hope Sutton's down there somewhere. Yeah. So I just think Sutton. I wish he would just was traded to a different team and really show what he's got.
So, I was hoping he'd end up in Pittsburgh, so I thought it would have been a perfect spot for him. But. So, I think as a consensus, none of us really like Denver players in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking anything from this game other than Pittsburgh D.
Yeah. All right. So that's it with the 4:00 games. We're gonna move on to the Sunday night game, Houston and Chicago. This
could be a good one or it could be a dud.
Oh, it could be ugly.
Put it that way.
Like it's one of those games. Like if Chicago could just protect for Caleb Williams, I think you would see a better potential of what's there. But like last week, dude was running for his life.
Yeah,
like that's why he had a rough. It was a rough game.
And your two receivers might be. I mean, your two main receivers might be. But
Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze are both questionable for the game.
Yeah.
So you have DJ Moore, who is going to be the guy, which great route runner, can get open. You kind of saw it last year with Fields, better quarterback this year, but the line looked like it has taken a step back from what it was last year. But if he's going to be the only viable option, I know Cole Kmet's there. It is what it is. Like he's just one of those kinds of tight ends. Not great, not bad.
Yeah, DJ Moore is the only one. I don't see him. I don't see him breaking double digits in this game.
Probably not. Like if he's the only guy, like Caleb could just chuck, and he might get his that way. But like it's bless you. But like as far as Chicago's offense, it might not be pretty this week.
That's another one that we wait and see.
Yeah.
Wait and see. Just wait and see. Hold your guys. Hold them tight. Pray that Caleb Williams can figure this out, guys. But
Caleb Williams is going to figure it out.
It's a wait and see
until
process.
then, it's
because they got a defense.
Yeah, so would you pick the Texans defense today?
I like Chicago's defense, not against the Texans.
Not against Texans. Okay,
I'm just saying Chicago's got a good defense to keep you
Jalen Johnson
in the games. They basically won you the game last week if you're Chicago.
Yeah, no, that pick six. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But flip side.
Yeah.
Houston. Joe Mixon
had a great game last week.
Looks a little rejuvenated. Like you could tell, like in Cincinnati, he was just kind of just checking himself out as the contract was coming up. As they worked away from him towards the tail end of the year, granted backup quarterback in there, like he looks fresh. And with the amount of weapons they have offensively in Houston, man, he's going to see some 6-man boxes at times.
Yeah.
Like to where
he can catch.
Like 3rd down and 4, they could run him off tackle and he's going to pick it up. They could run him up the gut and he's going to pick it up. Like he is a viable option on any down in that offense. Like you said, he can catch the ball. He can kind of do everything. Terrible at pass blocking, I will say that. So you could see him come off the field for whoever else they have.
Yeah.
But Joe Mixon after last week, I'm all in on him the rest of this season, barring injury.
Yep, I like Schultz this week. I like Stroud. Like I told everybody last week, Stroud will be the #1 fantasy quarterback at the end of the season. It's looking that way. Him and Doug's connected twice. Diggs connected twice. But Stroud's not a guy that's gonna zone in on only Diggs, which I think he's gonna show his tight end some love this game.
Yeah,
it's Stroud, bro. He likes to spread out the ball. Yeah. He likes to make sure everybody knows
it's what he's always done.
Yeah, like hey, I'm looking for everybody. You feel me? I'm gonna show this love. I'm your point guard. Give me the assist.
Yeah,
I'll take the assist. So I a good tight end play for me would be Schultz this week.
See, I liked him last week and just nothing.
Yeah,
it was weird.
I feel like it was me and Diggs, we about to show these dudes. You feel me? Like we're on the same page.
I'm pretty sure Nico had a pretty decent week too. He just didn't get in the end zone. That's all. If he gets in the end zone, I think you're kind of flipping that Nico arguably had the better week than Diggs. But because Diggs
had 2 touchdowns.
But Diggs had the 2 touchdowns. Yeah. So if you swap the one out for Diggs, they both have a touchdown. Arguably, maybe Nico had the better week.
Yeah. And it's because of CJ Stroud.
Yeah. So maybe Nico is the guy that gets the yards. Diggs gets the touchdowns with enough yards.
Yeah,
Tank Dell just kind of lingers around.
That's a good point there. I mean, if you're trying to bet, I would definitely take Nico's yards.
Like I think he's going to get his every week. I mean, it is paid him this offseason too, so it's not like he's just going to completely disappear behind Diggs. But
look for Tank Dell this week too. I didn't even think about that. Tank Dell's
could be a sneaky flex play.
Yeah, he likes to get those long, little sneaky 60. You talk about bombs, touchdowns. Yeah. That's that guy.
He'll just sneak behind the
wide open.
Behind the safety, and then boom.
Yep.
Say anybody you don't like from this game?
No. The only thing is I just look forward to watching it. To be honest, really, I think it's gonna be a good football game. I don't know where the points are gonna come.
Yeah.
Got another lineup question here, guys.
Okay.
So with A.J. Brown out, they ask Josh Palmer or Jahan Dotson.
Neither.
right?
You got to pick somebody. This is their lineup,
Their lineup.
bro.
Yeah.
Come on. No, what are you talking
I would
about
say
here?
who's available to pick up because I don't like Dotson at all. Like I've never been a big Dotson fan, even when he was in Washington.
He's your boomer bust guy.
Like I feel, like he could go off 1 week and
it's off one play,
and then for the next month he's just nowhere to be found. Like who was what he did in Washington.
What was the other person?
Yeah, who's the first guy?
Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer for Chargers.
All right,
I believe.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, either, but you got to go with somebody.
Go find a young guy on that's a free agent, or whether it's you could potentially flex in another tight end that's available, or just maybe a running back with high upside for the week. But I'm not big on either one of those.
If you got to stick with them, if that's your option, I would go Dotson.
If you had to pick a guy,
with Dotson
just on a chance
and
he scores a touchdown.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because they're both the same. Palmer's not going to do anything either. I don't even think Homeboy's looking his way right now, and they're transitioning to the run game.
Yeah,
so
it's rough.
That's why I go Dotson.
If you had to choose one of the two, it's Dotson.
They gonna pass it a little bit,
but it's more so hoping, hey, maybe he'll score a touchdown this week.
Yeah, both. I mean, he's probably in a 12 to 14 man league if you got AJ Brown out, and then these are your two only options.
Yeah,
so he's rough. Whoever asked the question is probably in a rough spot. So go Dotson and send up a prayer to God.
Let us know.
All right, so for the final game of the week, Monday Night Football, we have the Falcons and the Eagles. Battle of the Birds.
I think Philly blows them out.
I think so too.
I blows them out. Which I didn't even know AJ Brown was going to be out.
I would say the same.
And I liked Smith anyways, and now that makes Smith even more of a valuable option.
You have now
for sure.
AJ Terrell on Devontae Smith, but Devontae Smith is so quick.
It's so quick, bro.
Quick.
So elusive. And this is another guy, Jalen Hurts. He likes to go, all right, I might go AJ heavy this game. So then the next game, I might go Devontae Smith heavy.
It's kind of what he's done. But in retro, all right, so kind of just flipping it a little bit. How do you guys feel about Goddard?
I think he has a bigger game now too. I think receptions. I don't know how much touchdowns are. But if you're playing a PPR league, I think he's gonna have a bunch of receptions this game. He had what 7.1 points last week, I believe.
Yeah, I think he had 3 or 4 catches last week.
I think that goes up double digits.
Not that you ever have to question starting this guy, but Barkley is probably going to be the biggest benefactor of AJ Brown being out.
Maybe not 3 touchdowns too.
No, but
he's definitely getting in for one.
You could see 150 yards out of him this week.
This team,
just because of the receiving
this
aspect.
Philly team with Barkley
it's just different.
It's nasty. This is the Barkley that we thought we would see when he got drafted.
I would say in our league, I had pick 8. And Barkley was there. I'm just like, dude, no brainer. I couldn't have gotten that pick in quick enough. I mean, there was a couple guys that were ranked higher, but I'm just like, I know Barkley stays healthy.
Yeah, you were in a great spot.
This could be a ticket to a championship in this league. So
you were in a great spot there because I had the first overall pick.
Oh yeah,
so
and you're taking
you're gonna take CMC, which like I said, if you took CMC, you better got his handcuffs, and so I got Jordan Mason. So again, it's which he's not gonna get you the 3 touchdowns, but he's gonna get you double digits every week because. Kyle Shanahan's gonna take care of it. Kyle Shanahan's gonna take care of it, bro. Yeah. Anybody can run behind in a Kyle Shanahan offense, in my eyes.
But so flipping it to the other side, I actually like Kyle Pitts this week, especially if this game kind of gets away. I think you could see him over the middle a ton, even going out in the slot and potentially catching a deep ball for a touchdown.
Yeah, Cousins have always loved this tight end, bro. So I'm always
there's
on
always
Kyle
been
Pitts.
an appreciation there. Plus Arthur Smith's not there anymore for whatever reason. Didn't go to.
I was high on Kyle Smith. Kyle Pitts last week.
Had a touchdown.
Great tight end, for sure.
So if they can get him going in this game, he could end up with another big week, another touchdown.
Another touchdown for sure.
He is trying to reestablish it. After his rookie year, you were this Dynasty 1 tight end. Let's go. I'm ready for it. Even in redraft leagues, you're this guy could be the next great thing at tight end. And then it just kind of slowly fell off. He got hurt year 2, but I think you could see the rejuvenation this year. I think it's year 4 for him. So
sounds right.
And after last week, you're just oh, they know how to use them. They're gonna find them. Awesome. It's about time.
For real. So do you just like everybody in this game or is there not a negative person in this game for you?
You got Bijan, you're going to start him. If you have Drake London, you're probably going to start him this week. Cousins, you're probably finding somebody else until you can see him for sure do it.
And it's Monday Night Football, dude.
It's
it's not good for Kirk Cousins in prime time. So,
I do like Philly's D in this.
Yeah,
like I think they could get going as well. Like
I would. Hurts is, I mean, I'm just taking shots here, but if I Hurts, I don't like him this week just because it's another one of those things that, I mean, it could get ran up. And I think Barkley is taking his touchdowns in the goal line with that tush push. They don't have to use it anymore.
Yeah. So you say that, but at the same time, I feel like down the road end of the season, you still have a healthy Hurts.
Yeah, I'm saying for this game. For this game
if you had Hurts going into the playoffs last year, you were probably in a little bit of trouble because that's when you could see the injuries starting to pile up and his effectiveness really dropped off.
Yeah. But for this game, I just think it's gonna be a heavy dose of Barkley, and Hurts ain't gonna have to do much. Kind of like Josh Allen when he had 17 points last week for quarterback player or whatever fantasy wise.
Are you talking on Thursday?
Or no. 2 weeks ago, his Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Yes.
I think in full PPR, I think he ended up with 13 points or something like that.
I'm looking for Hurts to hit around there, just because it's gonna be a lot of dose of freaking Barkley. It's gonna be a lot.
I think Barkley gets fed this week, but I also think as far as they're gonna work on trying to spread it out, get Hurts kind of moving in the right direction as well for further to help him further down the line. So you try and get whoever is number 2 tonight in Philly at receiver, you try and get Goddard going, and potentially even the backup tight end. You just wanting to try and spread it around the night to just make your offense effective.
Once they get one passing touchdown, I don't know if they're going to pass it anymore. That's kind of where I'm at. I think he gets his one.
I think Hurts gets a rushing touchdown tonight.
You think so?
Yeah.
I just think like you said, they're saving him now,
But I think it's going to be, I don't want to say on necessarily a broken play. He's going to drop back. Nothing's there. Just inside the 10, just gone. Yeah. Or, just it's going to be one of those, he doesn't see what he likes and he takes off and gets it.
Yeah.
No, I would have to agree with that, and I also agree with being down on Hurts in this game. Is not looking to him to start, maybe looking at other options because of what you said.
It's not a bad.
I just don't see Barkley is going to get those extra things. There is the potential though with the scramble, but other than that, I am down on Hurts as a QB for your fantasy team in this game.
Just this game, guys.
Just this game.
But I think that's it.
Any more questions out there, Nate? Or no, we good?
You got one last one from Twitter.
Okay.
Fly Nelly Fly asks Calvin Ridley or Jaden Reed.
Ridley.
Wow. Oh man, if it was Love, we would go Reed without even thinking about it.
Ridley.
But see, I think it's Ridley.
Yes.
And even if Love was in there, I think it's still a toss up, and it's just go with your gut.
Reed. If it was Love.
And that's because they had so many different receivers in Green. You don't know, Dobbs was actually the guy last week, at least in the first half. Reed kind of got his in the second half, but it's going to be so spread out in Green Bay with Love. But I think Ridley does it this week because they're going to make it a point to get him the ball, especially after last week and the disappointment of how that offense performed.
If that's what I got to play with.
And the matchup's good enough to where Ridley could end up having a decent game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely go with Ridley here. If that's your options. Anything else?
That is the final question.
All right,
boys.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for tuning in. I think we had a pretty good show this week. And come check us out next week in week 3.
Let us know how we do, man. Send in some questions. Keep sending those questions in. You can send questions in before, and we can get back to them. I mean, we can get back to it.
We could even start the show with questions if you guys have them on potential matchups.
So exactly. So you look at your matchups on Thursday or whatever, and you see, all right, where you need to be at. Send us some questions, and we answer them before we even get into the show.
Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, all that. Just don't be afraid. We will gladly answer your questions.
If you're looking for an edge, we might be able to help.
Yes.
But thank you, and see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.